Hi, welcome to another vlog. I know what is happening, 2 vlogs in a row, but I'm off to do something really cool and interesting today, and I thought this is definitely something that you guys would be interested in seeing, so I'm going to take you along. Today I'm going to New Lanark, which I'm sure none of you know where that is and what that is. It's a little place south of Glasgow in Lanarkshire, and there is a mill there and they are still spinning their own wool there, and they've just started up their textile tours again. So me and my friend Harriet are going to go on a textile tour in the New Lanark mill. So that's what I'm taking you along for today. I'm going by car and I'm meeting Hatty there. I cannot show you anything off the drive because obviously I'll be driving. I'm hoping to have some time for like lunch and to charge my car when I'm there. So yeah, I will do that and then bring you along for the tour. I asked them if it's okay if I film during the tour and do a little video on it, and they were like, absolutely, please do. So yeah, I can bring you along and show you the New Lanark mill. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. I hope you're as excited as I am. I was really looking forward to this. So yeah, okay, I'll speak to you soon.
We're in Lanark. Full disclosure, I absolutely ran out of time when I arrived. I'll tell you why later. And I did not manage to talk to the camera at all. But thanks to the magic of editing, I can just tell you about everything now. So I went into Lanark, charged my car, had some lunch, even managed to get in some knitting time. But pretty shortly after, it was time to head to New Lanark. So New Lanark is a little village that's about a 5-minute drive away from Lanark. It's a World Heritage Site that's nestled in a stunning valley, which borders a set of waterfalls called the Falls of Clyde. The Textiles tour started outside the visitor centre, where our wonderful tour guide began by telling us about the history of the place. The New Lanark mills were built in the 18th century, and they began as cotton mills. With the use of water wheels, they harvested the energy provided by the nearby Falls of Clyde. Today the water wheels have been replaced with hydroelectric turbines, which power the entire site. Then we moved on to the inside and saw how they go from fleece to skein. The entire spinning process starts off in the blending pit. In here, cleaned or scoured wool of different colors is stacked into layers and coated with a lubricant. Then the wool is fed into the teaser, which mixes and opens the blend. This is what the wool looks like once it's gone through the teasing process. And it's actually quite a dirty and lengthy procedure. 500 kilos can take up to 8 hours to pass through. We then moved on to see the second step, which is carding. The carding machine continues the blending process and combs the wool. The fibers move through a set of rollers with thousands of fine teeth on them, slowly aligning the fibers so that they are ready for spinning. At the end of this process, the wool is separated into 28 loose sections that are then wound up onto these large spools. Next, we headed into the spinning room. Here, the large spools are loaded onto a spinning mule, and the spinning mule stretches the yarn out and then winds it onto these bright orange perns or bobbins. Across the room is the winding machine. Here, the yarn that's on the perns gets wound up into cones. During this process, the machine removes any imperfections like knots or lumps and smooths out any thick or thin areas in the strand. The perns in here were all empty, but the lovely New Lanark employee was talking us through the entire process. In the next room, we saw how the newly wound cones are twisted into different yarn weights on a twisting frame. This process is called plying, and 1 cone strand equals 1 ply here. So 2 strands will make up a DK weight yarn, 3 an Aran, and 4 a chunky weight. Lastly, the finished yarn is wound into the hanks and sent off-site to be washed, softened, and then coned or balled, ready for our needles. And of course, Hatty and I had to conclude our tour with a very lengthy mooch in the New Lanark mill shop. They have all the different yarn colors, weights, and skein sizes out here, and let me tell you, they have so many yarn colors. Literally, the rainbow doesn't even cover it. What I found particularly cool were these 1 kilogram cones of Aran weight yarn. No more weaving in ends if you knit with this. You can literally knit an entire jumper from this bad boy. And then we headed outside with our complimentary cake and coffee from the cafe, and we just had a good old knit and natter session. Doesn't it just fill your cup to sit with a friend, have a piece of cake in a beautiful, stunning countryside with your knitting? I just absolutely loved this bit. And of course, we also attracted attention of passers-by with her beautiful knitting, and we gave the lady some encouraging words to dust off her own needles again. And since this is Scotland, the party was cut short by the incoming rain. But it was also actually time to head home anyways. Alright, so Lavender Lanark, thanks for having us.
This day turned out to be way more hectic than I had anticipated and wanted it to be. I did not get to talk to you at all when we were in New Lanark, but I have shown you hopefully a really nice kind of sequence of the tour, and hopefully you've done a wonderful voiceover of it. But yeah, oh my god. I basically ended up having issues with the charging because of yesterday's Microsoft outage problem, and that's why you couldn't start any of the charges. And then I did end up finding one charger that I could go to, and then I was so short for time that I had to basically run down to the visitor center to start the tour. And then Hatty and I just got chatting, and I completely forgot to actually talk to the camera. Sorry guys. And now it's dinner time, so we're quickly gonna have dinner, and then I will just tell you what I thought about the tour. Alright, the daylight is fading today. It's so rainy right now. But I just wanted to give you kind of a roundup of the day and talk about how I found the tour and yeah, that sort of stuff. I absolutely loved the tour. It was so much fun to see and hear. I found the length of it to be really just right. It wasn't feeling too dragged out, and the pace of it was really good. So you were moving around the different areas of the site and then also of the actual wool production area. And so it never felt like you were just standing around. It was really nice to move a little bit and see things. And they also allowed you to just touch a few things, like the raw kind of wool product just before it goes into their sort of like combs. I forgot the technical names. But it was really interesting to see all of that, to feel it. And then we've had the demonstrations of different ways they wind their yarn, like spin it up and then wind it into their DK weights or their Aran weights. So it was really interesting to see all the different stages of it and to hear about the history of the place, and to see like a machine that was built in 1890 still standing there. And like until 3 weeks ago, the tour guys told us, until 3 weeks ago, it was actually still working, and they're just looking to replace a part now so that it's up and running again. So that's crazy. It's definitely anything for anyone who's interested in yarn production or the history of sort of wool thread work in Scotland. I absolutely recommend it, and it would have been such a beautiful day out had I been there earlier. Because you can walk down into the village, then you can have some lunch there. There's a little cafe. You could walk up to the Falls of Clyde, which are so beautiful and breathtaking. I was kind of hoping we'd have time today to go. I have seen them before and they are stunning. So yeah, and then you could go and do the little tour, have tea and coffee after, and head back home. So after the tour had finished, we went to the gift shop, and the gift shop was massive. There were so many kind of areas, little corners to it. I actually did go and buy a little skein of something. I bought this DK weight, which was one of the sale sort of items. If you've seen my last video, you'll know that I don't like to buy huge quantities of yarn whenever I go somewhere. I like to just get one skein to try out my ideas, and then if I like them, I'll go and buy the quantities I need. And my big kind of, the only issue I have with this yarn is the roughness of it. And I feel like it would be a bit too rough on my skin per se. So I think this yarn would be great for a structured piece, like maybe a jacket, something that needs a lot of sort of hold and maybe structure to it. The fiber itself and the way it's blended lends itself really well to that type of thing, I think. Also, of course, color work would be great with this yarn. I kind of want to see what it would feel like if it was mixed and blended with a different yarn, so like held together with a different yarn. But I love the colors that they have. I love how they blend the colors. I just feel like it looks so sort of like natural. It still looks like wool. It's not dyed plain into one color. And I love that movement that it gives. But also I feel like this would be really good for felting, and I always wanted to try to felt something. So yeah, hence why I've got one skein to kind of try out a few ideas. It was such a lovely trip. It was such a lovely experience, and yeah, anybody who is interested in that, I would definitely recommend have a look at their Instagram. That's how I found out about the tour, and see when they're on next. I think there is one on next month in August. Definitely worth it. It was short, snappy, good pace. You get a free cake and coffee afterwards. And with that said, I also wanted to say that none of this was sponsored. I just saw it on Instagram and I thought this would be a really interesting thing to do and see. I think I'll leave the vlog here. It might be a shorter one than before, but I hope you still enjoyed it. And if you're just feeling in the swing of things and would like to see more of me, I'll leave the last vlog that I uploaded up here too, where I tackle my moss problem. You see how I started to try and get rid of the moss that we have in this house. If you want to see more of me, if you want to always be updated on when I upload, you can always hit the subscribe button, and please give this video a like and leave a comment and tell me what you're knitting right now. I'm currently working on the Wild Knits Best sample number 3, which includes bust darts. So yeah, alright, I'm going to go now. See you guys again soon. Bye!